Fire Pro Wrestling World was fully released worldwide on September 28, 2018 by Spike Chunsoft. It's the 28th game in the series, and since its release, it's gained a cult following. Now, I picked up the game after watching clips from AEW and New Japan, and I was looking forward to a way to play as some of my favorites, mainly Zack Sabre Jr. This review is in reference to the PS4 version of Fire Pro Wrestling World and includes no DLC content. So without further ado, let's get into it. This isn't my first time playing this game. I tried it out about 2 years ago, and my closed-minded brain couldn't comprehend the controls. I ended up playing for about an hour before giving up, something like that. Right, so when I tried the game a second time, I had to look up various tutorials online to get the hang of the game. To be effective, first you gotta look at your character's moves, take a note of signatures and finishers, and then you gotta get in a groove. Similarly to the wrestlers you're playing as, the matches are heavily based on rhythm, momentum, and pacing yourself. Right? The game's many quirks make you feel like with every bout, you're becoming more proficient in a different area of the game. For example, figuring out the range you need to be in for different moves. Right? So there's a couple where you need to be almost perfectly lined up to connect. But every move forces you to evaluate and learn from your mistake. Something that isn't a mistake is the sound design. It's excellent. It adds ambiance in the form of clapping and light chanting. The sounds made by the canvas add a sense of scale, and it also acts as a marker for timing on lockups. The variety of wrestlers and moves makes mastering your favorite wrestler a rewarding experience that is accented by the sounds you hear while doing it. While there aren't a large amount of match types, each match is unique and serves a distinct purpose. They're also relevant to the Japanese style of wrestling, as table, ladder, and other gimmick-heavy matches are more intertwined with the North American style of wrestling. There are various barbed wire-ridden deathmatch stipulations, where the blood just keeps a-flowing, an MMA mode which features a 12-sided cage, and battle royales featuring up to 8 participants. Even though there are less match types than the WWE or AEW video games, all of the match types are unique and serve a purpose, whereas WWE 2K23 has overlapping modes like Extreme Rules and No Holds Barred, which are basically interchangeable. You start out as a young lion and are tasked with upgrading your character's stats and moveset until you create your ultimate wrestler. Right, the completion of Fighting Road takes about 30 hours. My current save file, it's closer to 9. Alright, my only gripe with the Fighting Road mode, that rhymed, is that there are too many multi-man matches, especially when you can't control your teammates and it allows for you to get kinda schmozzed. Right, there are some issues when it comes to localization and dialogue, especially when it comes to the added missions on story modes. Some objectives can be lost in translation. But overall, the mode is easy to get lost in for hours, trucking along through a simple yet effective story. Upon first glance, the creation modes are very daunting, with an absolute ton of options. The way the game works, many of the designs are mirrored, so added tattoos to one arm isn't possible using the game creation. Which brings me to community creation. Right, the people making items online and uploading them are the real MVPs. Right, they keep the game alive and relevant. Some of the creations I've seen are astounding, and the fact that the creations are built using pixel art instead of the 3D design suite used in the 2K series makes them even more impressive. There's a fair amount of creations that need DLC parts, but the large and varied amount of creations allows for everyone to get their favorite wrestlers or moves. I even played the game with a friend who doesn't know much about pro wrestling, let alone Japanese pro wrestling. And by the third match, he was beginning to understand the controls, and he was getting pretty into it, okay? Fire Pro Wrestling World stands the test of time as a game whose phenomenal customization, smooth match flow, and inherent charm allows it to compete with wrestling games from AAA studios. So that's it. I really enjoyed playing Fire Pro Wrestling World and would appreciate any support the game, the community, and this video gets. Thanks for watching, and have a good time.